the man with insight into these type of things.
No, Mr. Adams. You have the CAS numbers now. You cannot rely on a dead man every time.
Ma'am,
It's unacceptable.
I understand your frustration. Let me explain mine to you, if you will. Please, please, just give me 1 second. I will explain it to you. So, what we all know, all of us, is that the South African Police Service covers for each other. I've been told these dockets are about to disappear. I'm going to give you an example, and please write this down.
Before you give me those examples, this is the man that says to you, go to Orlando. So he must trust Orlando. He also arranges for somebody from Orlando because he doesn't want the same thing. If we believe you, which I highly doubt that anyone does, but if we believe you that the Cape Town dockets were intercepted, you have now covered every base to make sure the Joburg dockets don't get intercepted. The Joburg dockets were intercepted. You have now covered every base to make sure the Joburg dockets don't get intercepted. But the very next day you say to the minister, the same thing has happened. How is that possible? Then it must be General Lincoln and Witness G that has intercepted those dockets.
General Lincoln is in Cape Town without legs. He can't intercept a docket.
And yet he knows that the dockets have been intercepted.
This is what this man has told me. Now, if you will allow me, I will explain to you. There's a case.
Let's get this first. Let's get this first. What time did you lay your charges in Orlando?
It was in the was it in the morning? I think it was late morning, Chief. I think it was late morning. I caught the early flight to Joburg.
Mr. Adams, you've again said Chief.
Commissioner, I apologize. It just slips out. Commissioner, Chairperson, sorry.
Investigator to investigate when you know there's an investigation.
Commissioner, thank you. Commissioner, I understand that I'm the one that muddied the water. I've got the paperwork in front of me. I understand and I accept that I'm the one that muddied the water. But when Colonel Phillips calls me, I'm under the impression this is part of a cover-up, and this is why I don't speak to him. This is why I brushed him off. I don't deny it. I do not. And my faith in the process was, if I email the minister, or if I put enough pressure on, and I was going to take this to Parliament itself, then things will happen. But I promise you now, as I sit here, I had no idea that the office of the National Office of the Directorate was investigating. I thought it was a Western Cape thing. I thought that the Western Cape office had taken, the provincial office had taken my dockets. I thought this was just going to be part of the cover-up.
No. That cannot be. It simply cannot be. You complained to the minister on the 1st of November. The very following day, you were called by Colonel Phillips.
Colonel Phillips.
Surely, in your mind, it must trigger the idea that I complained yesterday. There's immediate movement. Look at the first entry under the comments. Colonel Phillips has written there that he did an introduction and explained the purpose of the call. No, you are not being truthful,
no.
Mr. Adams. You are not. Bear in mind that the very previous day, you have complained to the minister. Why is it that you cannot think, oh, there's immediate movement? The minister is moving on this. No, you're not being truthful.
Suspended Member of Parliament Fadayel Adams has sidestepped questions over why KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Mkwanasi described him as a hired gun, allegedly working for criminal cartels. Instead, Adams told the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry on Wednesday that his efforts to expose crime and alleged corruption had made him a target. He said he had reported threats against him and claimed investigators had obtained evidence that could strengthen his allegations. Among the evidence, Adams said, was a 3 to 4 minute recording involving former gang boss Fake Moses. According to Adams, the recording supported his claims about threats against him and contained a conversation in which Moses did not dispute his version of events. He said they have got a 3 minute or 4 minute recording of Moses speaking to me, not denying that this is what happened. Adams also alleged that the information gathered by investigators pointed to a plot in which Cape Town DA Councillor J.P. Smith was implicated. Smith has rejected Adams' allegations as baseless. The suspended Member of Parliament further pushed back against Mkhwanazi's characterization of him and members of the National Coloured Congress as hired guns, allegedly acting on behalf of criminal cartels. Adams maintained that the criminal complaints he and other NCC members lodged were aimed at exposing fraud and corruption and recovering money they believed had been stolen from the state coffers. However, Mkhwanazi has presented a strictly different version of events before the commission. The police commissioner has accused Adams of submitting unverified criminal complaints that were allegedly used by the Independent Directorate Against Corruption, IDEC, to target senior members of the South African Police Service, SAPS. Mkhwanazi has described the alleged campaign as State Capture 2.0, arguing that it was intended to weaken the police and disrupt key law enforcement operations. He has also accused Adams of accessing and distributing classified crime intelligence documents without the required security clearance. According to Mkhwanazi, the allegedly leaked intelligence was subsequently used to initiate criminal cases against senior police officials, while Adams' affidavit and the intelligence were allegedly relied upon by IDEC to secure subpoenas and fast-track investigations. The allegations have triggered a wider fallout within the upper echelons of SAPS, involving Crime Intelligence Head Lieutenant General Khumalo and National Commissioner Fanny Masemula. At the heart of the dispute is a fundamental clash over Adams' motives. Adams insists his actions were driven by a desire to expose alleged corruption and hold officials accountable. Mkhwanazi, however, contends that the complaints and intelligence formed part of a broader campaign to undermine the police. Vadel Adams also denied that Brown Mokgotsi played any role in helping him open criminal cases against crime intelligence officials in Orlando. Adams has maintained that the late General Andrew Lincoln was his contact and advised him to lay the criminal charges. Lincoln died last year, meaning Adams' account cannot independently be confirmed. Adams has also been unable to explain why he did not present the documents relating to the alleged criminal cases to Parliament, despite their potential relevance to the allegations he has raised. In earlier testimony, Adams denied unlawfully obtaining or distributing classified crime intelligence material, telling the Commission that the documents had been slipped under the door of his parliamentary office. He said the information raised concerns over alleged corruption, secret funds, police vetting, and handling of investigations. Adams also rejected suggestions that his criticism of the PKTT was personal, arguing that his concerns centered on accountability and the unit's finances. He claimed that the task team had an annual budget of 100 million rand, while investigating approximately 130 murder dockets over 3 years. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.